All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing thinking about the consequences before taking any action. I'm also going to be answering any questions that you may have in the chat regarding any of your business and personal needs with another session of Ask Coach Eli Anything. So stick around for all that and much, much more. Late Night with Coach Eli starts right now. Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Late Night with Coach Eli edition. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure on your smartphone, your tablet, your iPhone, your Android, or anywhere that you have the YouTube app installed on, you must also make sure that the YouTube app is set to receive notifications at a device level. You do all that exactly in the ways I just mentioned, and you're good to go. You won't miss a beat. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss a beat, because there are a lot of things that have been transpiring in my neck of the woods. Throughout the communities I've been involved with out here on YouTube. And tonight, I'm going to share with you what I can share with you and kind of maybe give you a little bit of a sneak preview as to what is more than likely going to be coming, soon down the road. And I got to tell you, folks, I've been feeling pretty good. I did not go live at all yesterday. I was going to do a Walking with Purpose stream and maybe possibly a stream from the studio last night, or one or the other. But I've been really working on some things. I've been working pretty hard on some things behind the scenes to better the experience here on my channel. And that involves many things. It involves doing a lot of critical thinking to come up with better topics that I feel you folks may enjoy, or may learn something from, or it may help you through something. I've also been, trying to, how do you say this the right way? Extinguish all the negativity from my channel. That includes all of the trolls and haters that have been attacking my channel for quite some time, and even attacking me personally for the last 3 years, between my former channel I used to run out here and then this channel that I've been running for about 15 months now. So just know, folks, if I go, a day every now and then without streaming, just know there's nothing wrong. I'm just working on some things, and I will do my very best to update you primarily through my community tab. And I want to make it very, very clear to you folks that any channel that has over 1,000 subscribers, 1 week after you reach the 1,000 subscriber milestone, you get what's called a community tab, and you're able to share postings to update your audience with certain things that are going on, especially if you're not able to stream for a little while. And what I am noticing is that some people are seeing those postings through their feed on their YouTube app, and some people are not. I encourage you folks that if you really want to know what's going on with me, especially when I'm not streaming or putting out any pre-recorded videos, please go to my channel every day, directly to my channel, and click on the community tab and look at the latest postings, because I typically will post there every day, if not almost every day, especially during days that I am not streaming. And that way, you're not going to worry about me or private message me behind the scenes through Hangouts chat, through Twitter, or send me emails asking me, hey, Eli, is everything okay? Eli, is everything okay? Oh, yeah, everything's all good in the hood. Everything's all good in the hood. So just wanted to make you aware of that. Hey, J-Dubs Outdoor Adventures is back in the house. How you doing, bro? Thank you so much for being here. We have 16 people here in the box right now to start off the show in the middle of the night. It is 5:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:19 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in my neck of the woods. I'm here in the beautiful, glorious San Francisco Bay Area in Northern California. And I have to say, folks, we've had one of the driest Februaries in history here in the San Francisco Bay Area. The weather has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been about 70 to 80 degrees almost every day. And going out there on my walks, especially the walks you've seen this past week that I've done, on my channel as a live stream, you're seeing amazing weather, towards the end of February. And typically this time of the year, we get a lot of rain and it's colder, but I mean, we've had summer weather in February. So I feel very blessed about that, but we do need to get, some rain so we can keep our water reserves full and we don't go through any of those, droughts that we've been through in the past out here in Northern California and in the Bay Area. There have been, years in the past where we went 3 or 4 years without a lot of rain. And, we had water rationing in place, and it was pretty scary. But, over the past few years, we've had a ton of rain and we've filled up those reserves. But, we need to get rain during the time of the year where it's supposed to rain, and we need it to be nice and warm during the summer, right? But I'm not complaining. We're supposed to be getting some rain, I believe, starting next week, which is what the forecast is saying at this time. But who knows? You never know what's going to happen, right? It's only a prediction, right? So anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show tonight. We're going to be discussing consequences. And as you can see on my thumbnail, it says, thinking ahead about consequences. And the title of the stream is, think about the consequences before taking any action. And I want you folks to really think about this. Now, I know it's the middle of the night, and there aren't a lot of people here at this point. I mean, there are 16 people here right now, and nobody's chatting. Most of you are listening. And until we get some engagement here in the chat, I'm sure some of my night owl moderators will be here in a little bit once they find out that I'm live. But in the meantime, I want you folks to really think about this. I want you to really think about this, and I'm going to share examples of, how I personally live this. Do you think ahead about the consequences regarding any action that you take before you take it? I want you to really think about that deeply. Do you think ahead about the consequences of any action or actions that you take before you take them? Because what I notice with a lot of people is that they will do things and not take the consequences of doing those things into consideration until after they take those actions. And then, if something goes wrong and they have to pay the price for what they did, then they're whining and complaining like, we're just going to say a little whiny dog, a little whiny female dog, especially the guys out there. Guys are more, in my opinion, men are more reckless in thinking ahead, regarding the consequences before taking any action. So, when guys do something stupid and then they get caught and then they have to pay the price for what they did, instead of owning up to it and trying to learn from it to not do it again in the future, a lot of these guys will start whining and complaining like a little female dog, right? You know what a female dog is. And again, what I've been telling people here lately, I did a stream a few days ago that was making people aware that I'm not an entertainment channel here. I'm a channel that teaches self-reliance. Now, don't get me wrong. I love to entertain people while throwing down those truth bombs. I do love to entertain people while I throw down those truth bombs, because I want to keep people awake and I don't want people to get bored while they're learning stuff. But again, I'm not an entertainment channel. I am a channel primarily that teaches people self-reliance, and I help people with their business and personal needs, their dating relationships, their marriages, their careers, whether it's in the workforce or whether they want to become a self-employed entrepreneur. I also help people grow their YouTube channel. I am YouTube certified, so if you have any questions regarding that, I can help you with that. But again, tonight's topic is a huge topic that I feel people need to, pay very close attention to and take very seriously. Because again, like I noticed, and this is primarily more so happening with men, because what I've noticed with women and the way women were hardwired, in my opinion, or maybe biologically, is that women will think very deeply about things, and a lot of women will, take the consequences of their actions into consideration before, taking any action. And men are typically different. Men are more risk takers, they're chance takers, and sometimes they will cross the line to try to get ahead, and they don't take the consequences into consideration. Okay? So I want to just raise awareness, to everyone regarding this topic, because quite frankly, if you do something really stupid just to try to get ahead, not only will it, potentially ruin whatever you're trying to accomplish, it might have some other serious repercussions as well. If you violate the law, you might end up in jail. You might be fined a lot of money, and it will put you in a very bad spot. So why would you want to put yourself in that position or put yourself in those positions, when you can think ahead and say, look, if I do this, what will more than likely happen? And if I do this, is it ethical? Is it legal? Is it pushing the line? Is it pushing it right to the line without crossing it? Or is it pushing it and, crossing the line a little bit? Or is it really crossing the line and you're doing it because you feel you get a lot more attention when you cross that line? Because most people will not cross the line. And when somebody crosses the line to get attention, to get ahead, especially out here on YouTube, it puts all eyes on them. And I noticed that happening a lot here on YouTube. So let me give you folks some examples of things that I think ahead before I do, that can have consequences. Like I've mentioned in the past, folks, I have a very clean background record. If you, go down below here and take my name, Elias Melas, Coach Eli, Elias Melas, and run a background check on me, you'll see a completely clean background check. I've never had a criminal history. I've never been arrested, never committed a crime. I don't even have a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. And when I tell people that, they're like, wow, not even a parking ticket? How have you avoided that? Because I think about the consequences before I park somewhere that could get me a ticket. For example, if I park my car in a red zone, I not only risk getting a parking ticket, I risk my car being towed. Not only will I have to pay a fine for the parking ticket, which could be hundreds of dollars, right? Okay, depending on the city it's in. If I get towed, I have to pay the towing fee. In essence, that one stupid mistake could cost me $400 to $500. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation when you can avoid it by, finding a spot that doesn't have a red zone? Like here in the Bay Area, our major city is San Francisco. And whenever you go to San Francisco, it's a tourist town. And San Francisco doesn't have a lot of parking. So in essence, you have to drive around for like a half an hour before you can find a spot where you can park at. or you have to, pay $30, $40, $50, to park in a garage all day, right? Okay. So what a lot of people will do is they'll push the boundaries and they will park in a red zone thinking that they're going to get away with it. Okay. For me, I would rather be 5, 10, 15 minutes late getting somewhere and explaining that to whoever's waiting for me and parking properly than parking in a red zone, getting a ticket, for getting a parking ticket for parking in the red zone, and also possibly getting towed. So I think ahead of those things. Another thing I think about, okay, this is something that a lot of people do not take into consideration when they're out driving. Especially if you're in a residential area, where most residential areas have a speed limit of 25 miles per hour. Typically because there are kids in the area, there are people there, and if they're crossing the street and you're going 70 miles an hour in a 25 zone, you're not going to have enough time to react to hit your brakes. You might actually, injure someone or kill someone, right? And that's why the speed limit's 25. But some people will go 30, 35, 40 miles an hour, which is not as fast as 70, but it's still faster than they should be going. And when I'm driving in a 25 zone, now don't get me wrong, sometimes I'll go 27, 30, maybe 31, 32. If you go a few miles over, that's not really that bad. And most officers, even if they're there with a radar gun, looking to, catch people, for speeding, they won't give you a ticket for that. But for me, I take that into consideration. I will look at a speed limit sign and say, look, the speed limit's 25. And while I don't see a cop anywhere, if I go 35 or 40, and two blocks ahead, there's a cop there with a radar gun and they nail me, I'm going to get a speeding ticket. But additionally, the more important thing is, what if a kid pops out on the street chasing a ball that was kicked onto the street? And then you're going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour, and then you strike that kid and you kill that kid. You see, those are the things that people don't think about. A lot of people are very selfish and, they want to get somewhere, and they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, let's see, the speed limit is 25. If I double the speed limit, to get to where I need to get to, I'm going to get there twice as fast. That's not necessarily true. It's not. Why? There are stop signs, stop lights. There could be traffic, right? There are people crossing the street. Do people realize when they're speeding to get somewhere, they're not going to really get there that much faster? You might get there a minute or two sooner, but is it worth all of the risk? Is it worth the consequences, in doing so? So anyway, we got 23 people in the box. I'm wondering if anyone's out there right now. Barbara Placence, Terry's GG&G, Queen Helen Casey, Riff Magos. Anyone out there? We've got a pretty good amount of people here, but no one's chatting. 24 in the box right now. Thank you so much for being here. So, that's one example of consequences. Another example I'll use out here on YouTube. Okay, this is the big issue on YouTube. Barbara Placence in the house. Barbara, I had a feeling you were going to be here. Barbara, are you happy I'm live to keep you company here on this, early Friday morning, let's say, Barbara, because you're in the Central Time Zone. It's 4:33 a.m. in your neck of the woods, right, Barbara? I'm here, Barbara. Barbara, it's nice to have a wrench in the house. It's nice to have a wrench in the house so you can moderate if any of those nasty, pesky trolls come into the house. But it's a great pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much. And Barbara, I'm glad you're here. Of course, says Barbara. Okay. I've been talking to some people behind the scenes, and you sent me a message about somebody that took some action. I don't want to get too far into detail because I don't want to give the other side too much information, because they're looking for information. And Barbara, I'm sure you're aware a lot of things have transpired. And Barbara, I'll tell you, and I'll mention what I can mention here in a little bit. Later today And probably by tonight, I'm more than likely going to have some breaking news. And I would tell you, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So, folks, if you're not, I know what you're referring to. Of course you do, Barbara. You're a very intelligent woman or human being, Barbara. But like I said, later tonight, later today, I plan on doing 2 more streams. I plan on doing a walking stream, probably around 2 or 3 in the afternoon Pacific, which will be, 5 or 6 Eastern. And then later on after that, I plan on doing another stream from the studio, because there may be some very, very interesting news to share by that point. Let's just put it to you that way. So, folks, keep it locked here, because if you've been following my channel for quite some time, and you know what's been going on with a lot of the trolls and the haters and all of that, let me just put it to you this way. All of that is it's about to hit rock bottom for all of them. And that's as far as I'm going to go with what I can say about that for right now. But Barbara, with the other person behind the scenes, I have talked with this person, and we would like to talk with you privately, hopefully sometime later today. I'm sure you're going to probably take a nap after this, and once I end this stream, I have a few things to take care of. Then I'm going to take a quick nap, get up, take care of my day job stuff, and then get right on the YouTube stuff. And I'm hoping we can talk with this person behind the scenes. And then, Barbara, there's a 4th person that we want to get involved in this group. That's as much as I'm going to say here right now. Just know Barbara has the hearts. What are the hearts there for, Barbara? What is that for? Are you like, okay, sounds cool, or just wondering? It's quite an odd response, Barbara. 2 red hearts. Okay. Well, like I said, there are some things, Barbara, that I personally want to update you on behind the scenes. I don't want to go public on this at this point. I can't even go public on it at this point. But I'm sure you know most of what's going on. There are some things that you're not aware of that I do want to make you aware of, and some other people behind the scenes that are working with me do want to make you aware of. So we will definitely do that. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that, so you're not surprised and you don't think anything funny is happening. It's not. But let's just put it to you this way, Barbara. We've been taking care of business. And that's pretty much what I did yesterday, which is why I decided to not stream after I did 3 streams the previous day. I was taking care of business. I was on a lot of private phone calls. The heart was for the hitting rock bottom. Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense, Barbara. That definitely makes sense. Okay. All right. All right. Excellent. Excellent. 26 in the box right now. 5:38 a.m. Eastern. 2:38 a.m. Pacific time. So let me give a few other examples here regarding, thinking ahead about consequences. And, like the title states, think about the consequences before taking any action. Out here on YouTube, one of the biggest issues has always been copyright infringement. And a lot of creators have a problem with copyright because many creators use, parts of other creators' videos to do what are called reaction videos. And yes, you have the right to do that under fair use. Okay? But what a lot of creators don't realize is that fair use is subjective to what the court of law decides. And while YouTube is technically not supposed to be arbitrating for fair use, because YouTube, does not have the right to decide what is fair use and what is not fair use. Only the court of law can do that. What I've noticed lately is, including when I've tried to put in a few copyright claims that I felt were legitimate, violations and not fair use, they came back to me and said, we feel that, the BMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, copyright takedown notice that you're trying to put through is protected by fair use laws. And that was quite interesting because Team YouTube had put out a video on one of their channels where they were talking about copyright and fair use, and they themselves said that, YouTube does not decide what's fair use and what isn't. Only the court of law can handle that. So, over the past, 6 months, when I've tried to protect my content by trying to take someone down for copyright a few times, YouTube got back to me and said, we are concerned that, some or all of your takedown request isn't valid. We feel that the content is protected by fair use. You should look into fair use laws. So here's the thing. Here's what I've decided to do on my channel here, especially my main channel, my monetized channel. Because I used to do a lot of reaction videos before I got monetized. And when I got monetized, I decided that I'm just not going to use any copyrighted content, even content under fair use, on this channel anymore, because I don't want to risk someone's content that I may use even legally under fair use, and then let's say that this creator hates me and out of spite files a copyright takedown on me, even though it's fair use. I'm risking the chance that YouTube may not see it that way and may take down the content. And then I got to go through the process of trying to clear up that copyright, which will disable my channel from being able to stream during that time. Okay? The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I'm thinking ahead about the potential consequences of my actions regarding using someone else's content. Now, again, if I use someone else's content, I use bits and pieces of it to do commentary, to transform it in nature, etc. That is technically considered fair use. But it all depends on the YouTube employee you get that would review anyone trying to take you down for that copyright. And if it goes beyond that and it goes to court, it's all dependent on what that particular judge decides, right? So you've got to take all that into consideration, that even though there are laws that protect you, through fair use and through copyright, etc., but those laws are subjective to the enforcers. And there are different enforcers that enforce these laws differently. Now, I honestly feel that all laws should be enforced equally, but, for most of us out here in the U.S., especially out here in the U.S., we know that not all laws are enforced equally amongst everyone. It's messed up, but that's just the way the system works. So if you take that into consideration before you, use someone else's content and just say, you know what, this is my monetized channel here. I don't want to take any chances of this channel going down. So I'm not even going to take a chance and do something and say it's fair use. If I do something like that, I have a backup channel. I'll run those streams over there or do reaction videos over there. And if something happens on that channel, at least it's a channel that I can afford being down for a week or two while I fight that copyright over there. You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking ahead about the consequences, as my thumbnail states. And that's what I'm trying to instill in all of your minds, okay? Another example, and this is something that a lot of guys, especially younger guys, need help with, because a lot of my friends used to say this back in the days. I sent you a DM, says Christmas Fireplace. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Well, let me check it out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me unblock that right now. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, Queen's a good moderator, and she's protecting the channel, and she means no harm. But a lot of times she blocks people that may appear as trolls, but they're actually people that are on our side. Christmas Fireplace, Christmas Fireplace in February, and we can talk after the show. Christmas Fireplace, no problem. But let me go into. Oops, hang on a second here. Give me a second. Let me go into my community settings. Give me a second here. Let me see. All right, Christmas Fireplace. That account that you requested to be unbanned has been unbanned. All right, let me get back to my other screen here. Give me a second here. All right. Hashtag Christmas all year round. Yeah, we're not counting spelling here today, Christmas Fireplace. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Are you happy to see me live in the middle of the night? You insomniac, you. So anyway, another thing, and this one's very important for guys and gals, but especially guys out there, because younger guys, when guys are younger, they're horn dogs. Now, don't get me wrong. Us guys can be horn dogs even at age 40, 46 like myself. But this is one that a lot of my guy friends back then, even guys nowadays, even guys in their 30s and 40s still feel the same way, right? Like a lot of guys, when they meet a girl and they're younger and the girl likes, him and he likes her, and then they want to have sex, but they don't want to use a condom, right? Because they say condoms suck, right? Okay. Now, give me a second here. Let me just check one thing real quick before I continue. So, yeah, a lot of guys, they don't want to use a condom because they say condoms suck, doesn't feel the same way, and the girl's not on birth control, right? Oh, I'm not on birth control. Oh, I'll pull out, right? Like, how many of you in the chat have actually heard that stuff, right? I'm sure everyone's heard that, right? Because let's be real, nobody likes condoms. Nobody likes how they feel, but they are necessary in many situations. Especially when you're first dating someone, you don't know them, or the woman may not be on birth control, or you don't know if they're disease and clean free, right? Barbara says, no, what sucks is unplanned pregnancy and STDs. That's what I'm saying, Barbara. Thinking ahead about the consequences, right? But see, a lot of these guys don't think about that. They think about getting their rocks off because They don't like the feeling of condoms. It'll desensitize their pee-pee, right? And then the woman might be like, and I've heard these stories from women too, right? The woman will be like, no, we should use a condom. And the guy's like, no, baby, I love you, baby, I'll pull out. Don't worry about it. It's all good, right? Next thing you know, one thing leads to another. They do it. And then, 2 weeks later, she misses her period and she's pregnant, right? And then the dude's ticked off that the girl's pregnant and is freaked out and runs for the hills. But didn't put it in his head that, well, dude, number one, she wanted you to use a condom initially, right? Until maybe she got on birth control or got to know you better. But you said, no, baby, I'll pull out, right? And now you're saying because you slipped one past the goalie that you don't want to be responsible for the actions you took. You weren't thinking ahead at the consequences of not using the condom with a woman not on birth control, right? And you weren't thinking that even if you pull out, you weren't thinking about the pre-ejaculation that can still impregnate a woman. Ha, Eli, you just called it a pee-pee. Well, Barbara, I'm trying to be advertiser friendly. I really am. I mean, I can slip in a few F-bombs every now and then and they won't demonetize that, but you know what I mean, Barbara. You know what I'm saying, right? You all get the point. The point of the matter is that, and this is more so with men. I think men, who are far greater risk takers than women, because that's the way men were biologically programmed to be. I think many men take too many risks. And in the case of, having unprotected sex with a woman you just met that's not on birth control, you risk getting an STD, sexually transmitted disease, or getting her pregnant. And again, a lot of guys are saying, oh, I have perfected the pull-out method. Oh, I can withdraw. Don't worry, I'll withdraw way in advance, right? And next thing you know, like I said, the girl gets pregnant. And now the guy is like upset and he's mad at the woman and now he wants her to get an abortion or, he doesn't want to own up to the consequences of the actions that he took beforehand. Now, if this guy were to think ahead and say, this is the right way to do it, thinking ahead. All right, you meet someone, you start dating them, what are you going to do? If you're a smart guy, before it gets intimate, okay, number one, you should always be using condoms initially. And number two, you should ask the girl you're with, are you on any kind of birth control? The pill, IUD, the shot, they have these Nuva rings. Now, there's so many methods of birth control, like, and most women are on them, if they're not married and aren't ready for children, but are going to be engaging in sexual activity, with somebody that they're dating, right? You should ask your woman that you're dating, are you on any type of birth control? Talk about your, each other's sexual history, get each other tested to make sure that you're clean before you go there. And initially use condoms. And if you start to date each other for 2 or 3 or 4 months, right, or whatever, maybe sooner, it all depends. You get each other tested, you're clean, and then you both decide that you're, going to get your girlfriend on some birth control. Then do that before you do what some guys like to call raw dog it, right? Because all you guys like to raw dog it, right? Let's be real about that. There's not a guy on the planet that would not prefer to raw dog it than to strap on a glove. I mean, let's be real about it. But sometimes you got to do it, at least initially, right? Barbara, are you enjoying this conversation here? Barbara, you have kids. you understand how kids are made. You've made a few of them, Barbara, you and your husband, Vern. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about your love life. That's none of my business. I know some other people out here on YouTube, Barbara, that you aren't too fond of anymore have questioned your love life. I'm not here to do that. That's your business. But you've had kids, Barbara, and in order for those kids to have been created, the sperm had to have fertilized the egg, right, Barbara? That's the way it works, right? Barbara Playson says, which is why I say for the most part, it is the woman's responsibility to take those preventative measures. She has a plethora of options. A man has one. Well, yeah, we have condoms. Well, we also have vasectomies, but basically that would be permanently snipping our penis, Barbara. But Barbara, I will disagree with you on this, and this is why a lot of people call me a liberal sack of shit. I disagree with you. Yes, I feel it is partially the woman's responsibility to take birth control, but I think it's also the man's responsibility to talk with her about it. Say, hey, babe, are you on any kind of birth control? We'll use condoms for now, right? And we'll get tested. Then when we're clean, we'll get you on the IUD or something, right? Barbara, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm actually taking your side, and I'm actually advocating for women that while I understand it's her responsibility if she wants to avoid pregnancy, especially if she's going out and just, having casual sex, right? But a man needs to also think about the consequences and say, hey, look, some women just don't care. Some women, get caught up in the moment. They're not on birth control. And you're being intimate with them, and they tell you to not withdraw, and next thing you know, as a guy, if a woman tells you to not withdraw, you're thinking, okay, she's safe. Next thing you know, you bust, like some other creators say, and then she's pregnant, right? The man does have a part in the responsibility, but the woman is the gatekeeper. I'll give you that one, Barbara. When it comes to a woman, preventing pregnancy, if she's looking at it from the standpoint of protecting herself and not taking the man into consideration, I understand that. But when you're in a relationship, I think it is the responsibility of both sides to, prevent pregnancy if you're not ready for that. And then if you get married or you want to have kids or whatever, then you talk about it and you figure it out. Most guys and gals, they don't talk about these things, and they just let things happen. And then, they face the consequences that they don't want to face. And that's, I'm not completely absolving men, LOL. Well, Barbara, I wasn't saying that you were. But it kind of sounded like the way you wrote it. You said, which is why I say for the most part, it's the woman's responsibility to take those preventative measures. She has a plethora of options. A man has one. No, I get that, Barbara. I get that. I was just going into greater detail for those people out there that aren't as smart as you and I are to figure out what you actually meant by that. My job is to elaborate and make it more clear so everyone can really understand what was said. But yeah, and another thing, hey, Hooded One, how you doing? You're always coming in to chat saying, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the show. Great to have you here. We're at 58 minutes, folks. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to take a break and then come back for another half an hour to an hour. Anyway, another thing, this is another thing regarding the same situation where as a man and a woman, you got to think ahead about these consequences. There are many different types of birth control. And I will tell you, in my opinion, the most ineffective form of birth control is the birth control pill. Not because it doesn't work, but because of the fact that you have to, as a woman, remember to take it at the same time every day. And if you miss, more than a couple of days and you have unprotected sex and the man, finishes, where, right? You risk a great chance of getting pregnant. And that's why, when I've had the conversation of birth control with my ex-girlfriends, it's always been more of a permanent method of birth control, meaning not permanent, by tying your tubes and all that, meaning that, you use an IUD. Most IUDs are good for 5 years. You put it in there, right? There are hormonal versions and non-hormonal versions, right? And you don't have to worry about remembering to take a pill. And when you're with the right person, you can be spontaneous and be intimate anywhere. You could go on vacation and be intimate in your room and not have to worry about looking for the love glove or having to worry about pulling out or whatever, right? You just do what you got to do, right? But, okay, let's say that you're dating a woman and she takes the birth control pill, right? And let's say that you decided to go on a weekend getaway trip, right? And basically you went on that trip and you were intimate that first night. And the next morning, the woman realizes that, oh my God, I forgot my birth control pills at home. Well, you're hundreds of miles away, or even further away. What are you going to do in that situation? Right? Well, in my opinion, the right thing to do in that situation would be to get the plan B and then stop having intimacy until she gets back on the pill. And then in that situation, what I know about the pill, I've learned a lot about birth control in my life, talking about it, with women, is that now you got to wait a complete cycle before the birth control pill, a complete menstrual cycle before the birth control pill is 100% or 99% effective again. Which is why, in my opinion, the birth control pill is the least effective form of birth control, not because it doesn't work. It does work if you take it right. The problem is remembering to take it at the same time every day. And then during that week of, the woman's period, you have a couple options. I've learned this from, exes in the past. They give you a row of sugar tablets, right? You don't have to take them because when a woman's on her period, you're not taking the pill at that point. You're taking a break at that point. And then right when that week ends, you get right back on it. Another thing people don't take into consideration is birth control is not 100% effective. You're taking a risk even if it's a small one. Right. Even the IUD is like 99% effective. It's very, very effective. It's been effective for me. I mean, it's been effective. But yes, anything can happen. And quite honestly, like some other, creator, I won't mention their name, says you should not be busting nuts in women that even on birth control, that you wouldn't be happy if they somehow got pregnant. Like, look, I'm not gonna be intimate with a woman at that level, unless I was ready for whatever. And even if I wasn't fully ready for a kid at this point, if it happened with the person that I'm that intimate with, I'd be happy about it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm the kind of guy that doesn't go out there and have, casual sex or random sex. I only am intimate with women in relationships. Barbara places another good point. I had a lady friend of mine, and we were just friends, and we would have this conversation. She told me the same thing you're saying, Barbara. Hell, even antibiotics mess with your birth control. Antibiotics will nullify the pill, is what I was told by a lady friend of mine back in my younger days, because she used to be on it, and she also would take antibiotics. So, during those times, she had to have her man strap it on, right? So that's a very, very good point there, Barbara. And doctors, most doctors will make you aware of that as a woman, that, hey, you're on the birth control, but now you need these antibiotics for something else that, we need to treat, right? And we want to let you know that taking antibiotics with the birth control pill makes your birth control pill, if not less effective, completely ineffective. So you should consider other forms of birth control, condoms, or other forms of birth control. And there's a lot. There's even spermicide out there. There are, NuvaRings. There's the shot. There are a lot of different options out there. And I didn't want to make this a topic of sex ed, but this is one of the biggest consequences that men and women should be thinking ahead about, but they don't, right? Does that make sense, Barbara, or anyone else? Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. So, anyway, it is 6:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think I gave enough good examples regarding the topic, thinking ahead about consequences. When I come back, I'm going to be discussing to my audience here what's up ahead on this channel, especially what's up ahead. Excuse me. I had to clear my throat there a second. Especially what could potentially be, coming later today and tonight. Again, there's only so much I can say at this point, but I will give you folks as much of a sneak preview as I can give you. I'm also going to update you folks on what's been happening with the trolls and haters within my community. It's been pretty interesting how their behavior has been lately. I'm going to address it. Again, there may be some people behind the scenes that are listening very intently and are wondering if I'm going to say too much. And no, I'm not. You can trust me, right? I know you're watching. I know you're listening, right? Barbara says absolutely. Okay. But yeah, I want to put out a statement regarding that. Heck, I don't even care. I'll even address the trolls and the haters. But again, I'm not going to say too much because I know I'm only able to say a certain amount. But it's just been very interesting to me, their behavior lately, and how do I say this the right way? How what they used to do is happening much, much, much less. It's been very interesting. I have my opinions on why that's happening. And I will share what I'm able to share at this point. And I'm also hoping that maybe by tomorrow night, possibly, or by next week, I may be able to share a little bit more. But trust me, folks, once I'm able to share everything completely, you're going to see one of the biggest shifts throughout my community compared to the entire 3+ year period that I've been a YouTuber between my former channel and this one. You're going to see some major shit change, not only in a positive way for me here, but for a lot of other people. And you're going to see other people that have been, let's just put it to you this way, getting away with things they shouldn't be getting away with, get what they deserve. Let's put it that way. Okay? Let's put it that way. With that being said, let me do this. Let me cue up some royalty-free YouTube music, which is safe from copyright and demonetization. I tell you, Barbara, it's interesting. YouTube put out a video on their Creator Insider channel. And like my video is green right now. Like I have not had any issues with monetization lately on ad-friendly content. YouTube did make a statement saying that, yes, we understand the artificial intelligence has been flip-flopping from yellow to green, between content not suitable for most advertisers and content suitable for all advertisers. They had an update to the algorithm. And I'll tell you, Barbara, like over the last week, like I haven't been demonetized once. Like it's almost to the point of where it's making me feel like they've turned off the artificial intelligence, at least for the time being, because it's been all good. So Barbara says that's great. Are you saying that's great for the artificial intelligence, the automated demonetizer, the automated non-human demonetizer? I haven't had to put in the manual review for quite some time, which is good. Angel Hatton, how you doing, girl? Welcome to the show. Good morning to you. I'm about to take a break, Angel, so stick around. I'm going to come back for another half hour, 45 minutes or an hour, and talk about some community updates. But if you missed the first part of the show, go back and check out the replay. You're not able to scrub back because I had the DVR rewind function turned off. But go back and check it out. It was pretty interesting what we talked about regarding thinking ahead about consequences. So let me cue up that damn music. And then I'll head on out of here for a second. What do I want to play? Okay, I just need a couple more songs here. All right. We're all good, folks. I'll be back in about 5 to 7 or 8 minutes or so, something like that. Stick around. Do not go anywhere. that's good copy. Ah, man. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live on YouTube, the late night with Coach Eli edition. Glad you can all join us today. And Mr. Like and Theory over there, James, glad you could join us as well. I got a message behind the scenes that you made a posting regarding, my breasts, and you mentioned to the ladies that you should get your breasts checked, right? That's great, dude. I'm so glad that you could acknowledge my presence, that I'm live this morning. I'm sure you took a screenshot of my show, and you didn't actually share the link because you don't want people clicking on it and then coming to my show, when all they really have to do is type in a grip on life and boom, there they go, right? But yeah, thanks for joining us, James. And by the way, James, stick around because, I'll mention a few things about you here in just a little bit. But yeah, and Christmas fireplace. I got a message from you also behind the scenes regarding Angel Hatton and your suggestion at Moderator. I do remember Angel from the past, and she was on my stream the other day. Let me just go and make sure. Can you verify that that's actually the real Angel Hatton? I'm going to go to the channel right now. And yeah, that is her. That is her. And yeah, Angel's all good, right? She's all good. All right, Angel. We're going to welcome you back to the Moderator crew. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here and continuing to support this channel. We appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Christmas Fireplace. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, folks. So before we get to the second part of the show, I'm probably only going to be on for another half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe an hour max. It all depends on how much I feel I need to say regarding this segment, and how many questions are asked in the chat. We have 17 people in the box. A lot of people decided to leave. I would be surprised if somebody's actually simulcasting me at 6:25 a.m. Eastern, 3:25 a.m. Pacific. But you just never know. You never know. You never, ever know. But anyway, so if you missed the first part of the show, you're going to want to definitely go back and check out the replay. I did share many examples regarding, thinking ahead about consequences. And like the title states, think about the consequences before taking any action. I gave many examples such as, driving, parking in red zones, speeding, what the consequences are. And these are obvious things, but I mention them because people just don't think about it. And they still speed in residential areas. They get tickets, they park in red zones, and then they complain why they get tickets, right? I mean, seriously. Think about it. If you park in a red zone, you're going to get a ticket more than likely, and you're going to get towed more than likely. So why complain about something you already know is going to happen if you do that, right? But the most important one I discussed was, sex, intimacy, especially, amongst our youth, having unprotected sex, no birth control, taking STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, into consideration. I talked about that for quite a bit. So if you missed that first hour or so or the first hour or so of the show. Go back and check out the replay once it goes to a replay. Again, I do disable the DVR function, so you're not able to rewind while I'm live, because I want people here live to engage when the show is happening. And then you can always go back and watch the replay later, right? It's a smart thing to do. It's a very smart thing to do. I don't even know why the live streams on YouTube have a rewind feature. I guess some people, do want to go and just, watch the first hour of a show while the show is still live with the current, live information that's being put out there. But, I guess they just wanted to give you that option. But those are my thoughts about it. Now, hey, CNR Trivia, Crash, who put that wall there? LOL. Hey, Colin Butters, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, brother? Welcome. Thank you for being here, man. Lots of love. How are things going for you in your neck of the woods, man? Colin's a great guy. Please check out CNR Trivia. Subscribe, bang his bell, select on notifications. He's been going through some stuff. He's had his leg amputated. He's also going through a divorce because of that, which is pretty sad. His wife has decided to not support him anymore because he is, he had his leg amputated. And I believe, Colin, you said that you're going to be getting a prosthetic leg soon. So, it's all good. I'm hunky-dory, says CNR Trivia. Lucy O'Hara's in the house. Dia DeHuit. Eli in chat. What does that mean, Lucy? Oh, hello. It means hello. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm back. Did I miss much? Yeah, we moderated you. We moderated Christmas Fireplace. I'm sure you know who that is. I'm sure everyone can figure out who that is. Suggested that we moderate you. I know, Angel, you've been a moderator on my channel in the past, but I know we had some crazy things that happened, and I had to remove a lot of mods to kind of figure out who was really here for the right reasons and who wasn't here for the right reasons. But it's all good. Welcome back. And CNR Trivia says, yes, that's correct. Okay, cool, bro. Cool. Awesome, man. You're a fighter, Colin Butters, a.k.a. CNR Trivia, and that's awesome. Yes, well, his wife is in progress of leaving him because he had his leg amputated out of his control. Yeah, he shared CNR Trivia, who I interviewed on my channel almost a year ago, Colin Butters. Great guy. He mentioned this when it first happened a couple weeks ago, through my chat. And and CNR Trivia says amongst other things as well. I know, dude, it never ends. I mean, with some people, I was going to say with some women, you can never win. But with some men, you can never win. I can't sit here and just blame women for something that men are guilty of as well. Some women go into relationships for selfish reasons, but some men are the same way. Some people are just selfish people, and they're not all about, making it equal. And if you're in a relationship, because you want to share your life with somebody, and you want to share everything, and you are there to support each other through thick and thin. Like marriage vows say, in sickness and in health, in good times and bad, till death do us part, right? In good times and bad, in sickness and in health, till death do us part, right? You take those vows, right? You take those vows, and supposedly you mean those vows when you take them. Until something goes wrong, and then you're like, oh, fuck these vows. They don't mean shit. That's not a good wife, says Lucy. Absolutely. Sorry to hear that, says Lucy O'Hara. Angel Hatton says, well, if so, it was a blessing in disguise. I'm sorry this happened to him. Absolutely. CNR Trivia says, death to us part. Yeah. Till death do us part. Right. No, dude, those are marriage vows, bro. At least here in the U.S., that's what we say. I'm sure it's similar in your neck of the woods. I believe you're in the UK, if I remember, right, Colin? I believe it's the same thing out there, right, bro? Anyway, so like I mentioned before I I took my break. During this part of the show here, I want to discuss some things I've been noticing throughout this Dramasphere community that unfortunately I've been involved with and haven't wanted to be involved with for many years. This group of people that, you know, have been attacking my channel in many crazy ways. It's interesting to me that all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 days ago, and if we go back, I'd probably say Saturday or Sunday of last week is when this happened. So we go back 5-6 days ago. A lot of these creators that have been attacking me, basically have not been putting out as much content. Now there's a wide variety of reasons why I feel that's happening. You have JB Gunner, who's been on the run for, gosh, how long has it been? Somebody tell me in the chat. Has it been like over 3 weeks or almost a month that JB Gunner has been on the run? And he's been trying to do some streams from, you know, hotel rooms that he stayed at with his girlfriend Anna. But apparently, you know, he's had horrible Wi-Fi issues. That's pretty funny, JB. You've had horrible Wi-Fi issues. And this is how cuckoo I feel this guy is. You know, he tries to play so many games to entertain his audience and to try to scare someone like me or make people believe something that's not actually happening. So, you know, now I don't know where JB is currently at, and I could care less. You know, it's not a big deal, you know. But I mean, the last time I heard, you know, he I guess is in Georgia or somewhere like that, you know, and basically he did a speed test from, you know, wherever he's at right now. And he chose a San Francisco, California server to run his speed test since January 20th. So basically, Christmas Fireplace, JB Gunner's been on the run for 5 weeks almost, right? Barbara says, I would say close to a month. So the guy runs a speed test from his iPhone, you know, while he's somewhere. I'm assuming he's probably still in Georgia. I'm not sure. I don't care. It's not a big deal. But from wherever he was at, which I assume was Georgia when he ran that speed test, he chose a San Francisco server, which is what, 2,000 plus miles away. And then he puts out a screenshot saying that here's why I can't stream, because, you know, my downstream is like 1 megabit and my upstream is like 0.17 megabits per second. Now, folks, to give you an example, I run my streams at 20 megabits per second, which is a lot more than YouTube requires to run a 1080p stream. To run a good 1080p stream, you need to have about 3.5 to 6 megabit upstream, okay? I run it at 20 megabits because I have a fast computer and I have a fiber line that's 1,000 up and 1,000 down, and I want to give the best possible quality. But when it comes to mobile, you don't need as much bandwidth. You need about 1 to 2 megabits to broadcast from mobile, and through the YouTube app, the highest quality that you can broadcast at is 720p. Okay, it defaults to that. That's just the way it is. So you need about 1 to 2 megabits. Now, 0.17, let's just round that up to 0.2 megabits. That's 0.2 of a megabit. Okay? So basically, like I said, in order for JB to be able to stream without buffering or issues, he'd need to have at least 1 to 2 megabits of upstream. And he showed on that screenshot through that San Francisco server that he used to run the speed test on his phone that he only had 0.17 megabits. Well, Folks, think about it. If he ran that speed test from a local server, he would have probably had a better upstream and downstream. Possibly. Now, he may actually have connection issues, but it's just ironic to me that while being, on the East Coast, which I assumed when he ran that speed test, he was somewhere in Georgia, that he just all of a sudden, hit, run speed test and it chose San Francisco, California as a server. It doesn't do that. It chooses your closest server by default. He went and changed that because he wanted to, entertain his audience and get his audience to think that, I'm in San Francisco and I'm going after Eli, right? Angel Hatton says, people have no responsibility or commitment. If they get pregnant, they have an abortion, get married. It's not going your way, get divorced. Right. No, I understand. Angel, there are so many options people can take. And instead of, thinking ahead about the consequences, like I mentioned during the first part of the show, they're more they're more reactionary than taking precaution, right? I take precaution. I always think about what could possibly happen regarding every, bit of action that I take. I always think of, okay, what chances am I taking if I have unprotected sex with a young, fertile woman not on birth control? And even if I say, okay, I've got great control and I can pull out, right? I'll pull out before I come, right? Well, that's not 100%. That's not the most effective way. I'm not saying that the pull-out method doesn't work at all. Because for many people out there, I've had many friends that have used the pull-out method, and it's worked flawlessly. But it's very risky. So I get what you're saying, Angel. I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I get it. But anyway, going back to Gunner. Okay, so he's been out there on the run, and he's had a few streams that he's done. But the funny thing is that, he has been disabled and crippled from being able to do his live streams. And I guess what's happening with him is that he's supposedly coming back with a stream later today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And apparently he's saying that he's had his green screen and maybe his computer shipped to him. Well, here's the question I have to you, JB. If you have crappy Wi-Fi where you're at and you don't have a green internet connection, what good is having your computer and your green screen going to do when you don't even have enough bandwidth to run a live stream from mobile on your phone, which requires a lot less internet bandwidth than your stream would require on your computer with your green screen? So I'm curious to see what he's going to do about that. Or if it's just another one of those, messages he put out there on his community tab or through a short video to get his audience to think that, okay, this is coming, right? Then in addition, the guy states that he's going back to creating his political commentary content. He's going to do morning coffee again, and he's going to do all of his, gaming videos on his gaming channel, right? I look forward to seeing how much traction he actually gets on those videos. And when he gets no traction, and when his current audience that is following him for one reason and one reason only, that's to troll me and talk shit about me, I'm curious to see how much of an active audience he's going to actually have to watch those other videos. He's going to go back to political commentary, gaming, and the morning coffee may do okay because that's catered to that audience, right? The audience that's following him. But additionally, that audience watching morning coffee is there primarily for one reason: for him to talk shit about me, right? And I'll say this. I'll say this. It's funny to me that Mr. Gunner and many other people throughout this drama sphere, including Susie Q7979, Brutally Lauren, including Trim Hits, aka Ronaldo Smith Jenkins. What happened there? Something just happened. Wait, hold on a second. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. AKA Dr. Robert. They really have not been talking much about me lately. And it's very interesting to me. It's very interesting to me why that is. Now, I have my ideas. I have my ideas on why that's happening. And there's not a whole lot I can really say at this point. There may be more I can talk about down the road. Like I mentioned when I went on to Like in Theory stream. I think it was last week, if I remember, like a week and a half ago, and then I went on to the Mad Shangy stream a few days ago. And like I said, look, there are certain things I can talk about and other things I can't talk about right now because there are attorneys involved, and I've been advised by the attorneys to not talk about certain things, and if I do, it could affect me legally. It could put me in legal hot water. So I unfortunately can't say too much. But what I will say for the time being is that it's just interesting to me that this entire drama sphere that was coming at me head on, and they're still kind of coming at me, but they are not coming at me nearly as hard as they were. That's funny to me. Again, hopefully I'll be granted permission by the attorneys to be able to discuss this soon, because the attorneys have told me once we take care of what we need to take care of, at that point, it will be okay for you to go out there and raise awareness to your audience once or twice. So, I'm at the disposal of the attorneys at this point. Now, a few other things that have been very interesting. Number one, for you, Jamie, Like in Theory channel, I know you're watching me right now. You're up early. Good morning to you once again. Hope your day's going well, bro. You seem to not think that Ronaldo, aka Trim Hits, well, you think that Trim Hits, aka Dr. Robert, is not Ronaldo as well. Well, let me talk about what I posted on my community tab a few days ago and made people aware of what happened on the 25th, where Dr. Robert was supposed to be sentenced. What happened is that on January 31st of this year, Dr. Robert, aka Ronaldo, aka Trim Hits, filed a motion for an extension of his sentencing because of new evidence that was found and needs to be looked into. Well, when the people behind the scenes that are helping me with this case called the courthouse a week before his sentencing, it was still scheduled for February 25th. Well, what we didn't realize until the 25th came and the case didn't happen, we called the courthouse, we found out that on February 20th or 21st, that motion was granted for the extension that was filed on January 31st. And now the new sentencing date for Dr. Robert is March 31st. Now, I'm not going to count on that because I think this bastard, Ronaldo, a.k.a. Trim Hits, a.k.a. Dr. Robert, is going to continue to try to get as many extensions as possible until the judge says enough, no more extensions. So again, I'm not sitting here counting on this. All I'm doing now is raising awareness and saying, folks, we're being played here, and you're all being played. And if you, Jamie, and everyone else does not believe that Ronaldo is Trim Hits and Dr. Robert, you're out of your mind. Look at the amount of time that Ronaldo Smith Jenkins, a.k.a. Puffcuss Joker channel, spent the past several weeks streaming about me every night. Now, I didn't watch his streams. I was made aware of them. And I actually do go and download them. And I'll tune in for a couple of minutes. It's the same thing. I'll just tune in for a couple of minutes on a replay and hear him say the same thing. Eli, I'm watching you. Eli, I'm obsessed with you. I'm obsessed. Eli, come on the show. No, dude. I'm not going to come on the show. No. But if you don't believe that is that person based on his behavior alone, and then, Ronaldo on his Puffcuss Joker channel does a live stream the morning of the supposed sentencing date on February 25th. And then a couple of hours before the original court time of his sentencing that was supposed to happen on the 25th, he was in his car, or making it appear like he was in his car driving and doing a stream saying, I'm still a free man, trying to get us to believe that he was on his way to the courthouse. So my question to you, Jamie Lycan Theory, JB Gunner, Brutally Lauren, Suzy Q7979, if you don't already know for a fact that Ronaldo is Dr. Robert and Trim Hits, if you don't already know that, seriously, who do you think this person really is then? And why would why would Ronaldo, the guy that calls himself Ronaldo Smith Jenkins, put in so much effort into this? And then the guy says, oh, I'm off my job today, or I'm working my job today, and today I'm off my job. Like, there's no way this person would be able to do everything that he's been doing to troll me, to attack my audience behind the scenes, to do all those live streams every day, to do things the way he did the day of the supposed sentencing on February 25th that we now know got extended to March 31st, unless he was Dr. Robert and not working and just at home all day. You see, I think what's really happening here is that JB Gunner, Suzy Q7979, Brutally Lauren, well, maybe not Brutally Lauren, because Brutally Lauren is, anyway, let's not even say what we want to say about her. But at least for a fact, I know JB Gunner and Suzy Q are smart enough to understand a criminal because they're criminals themselves. They're 3-time convicted felons. And Dr. Robert is a convicted felon as well. Right? So felons know felons, right? So if I had to guess, now you tell me in the chat, people that know this story, if we had to guess, do you folks think that JB Gunner and Suzy Q both know that Ronaldo is Trim Hits and Dr. Robert and just don't care because as long as he's around until he actually goes to jail and gets convicted, once the judge stops extending his sentencing hearing, or extending the date of the sentencing hearing, they're going to use him to weaponize myself and other people in the meantime. And they don't care, who he is. All they care about is being able to enlist him to attack people that Suzy and JB just happen to not like, such as myself. It's funny to me. I was thinking about whether I should talk about this or not, but I really wanted to. Oh, they're fully aware, says Barbara. They know that it's Dr. Robert. They're just going to weaponize him until they can't weaponize him anymore once he actually has a sentencing hearing, whenever that may be, and then goes to jail, right? And the thing is, they all knew that he wasn't going to go away on the 25th because he told them that, right? They all knew. So they were trying to get me to bet my channel, which I would never do anyway. It's just stupid, right? And that's why JB Gunner set a live stream for the 26th saying Ronaldo is still free. And Ronaldo agreed to it because he already knew that there was a motion for his sentencing hearing to be, pushed back to March 31st. I didn't know this was legal. Oh dear, they should back off. Yeah, then. Oh yeah. And the thing, Lucy O'Hara, is there's a lot more coming. Let me just put it to you that way. Again, I am bound by the attorneys and what they've told me that I can't say. They've told me what I can't say and what I can't say. I am bound by them. Trust me, there is a lot more coming. There's a lot more coming that let's just put it to you this way. There's a lot more coming, and I possibly may know more and may be able to say more by later this evening, or it might take until next week. Oh, is that ODN in the house? Jergens and Kleenex. ODN, let me talk about you for a second. ODN, you're back to thumbing me down. Like, I had like over 20 thumbs down, at the beginning of this stream. ODN, do you ever sleep? Like, I don't think this is Ronaldo thumbing me down all these times. I think it's ODN. ODN is back to attacking me and talking shit about me because, I don't know, maybe he just is jealous of me. I don't know. ODN actually came onto the Mad Shangy show I was on a couple nights ago, and I was trying to pay ODN a compliment. I was saying, ODN, you're the one that cracked this case. You're the one that figured out Ronaldo is also Trim Hits. You're the one that also put the FBI put JB Gunner on the FBI's radar by posting his video of doing ecstasy online on the FBI Facebook website or Facebook on the FBI Facebook page. I mean, which is what I'm trying to say. So ODN, here's the thing. Like, I really don't have any problems with you, and I commend you for doing great work. So I don't understand, ODN. What is your problem with me? I don't have a problem with you. I have no problem with you. I'm thanking you for the great work you did. Now, granted, what happened, ODN, is that you put out that video on Jamie, and then JB weaponized that video and said, "Look, dude, if you turn on Eli, I'll tell Jamie to back off. You come and support us, and I'll ensure that Jamie does not sue you for slander or a death threat or something like that, right? Because an actual death threat, something can be done about that." So ODN freaked out. When in actuality, the person that actually cracked this case and got us all on the right track on the A team behind the scenes was ODN. So again, ODN, I have no problems with you. I don't know what your problem is with me. All I'm trying to do is acknowledge the good work you did. I don't get it. Again, the reason why I think you keep attacking me is because you're trying to protect yourself from being, from having to answer to that video that you did on Jamie where you were pointing a gun, or you're pretending to put your finger out pointing a gun at a picture of his house that you got from Google Maps or Google Images. I thumbed you up, makes it even now. Don't let that bother you. You can still trend for thumbs down. So look on I'm not concerned about the thumbs down, Angel. I'm just calling these people out. Because the bottom line is this. You have people like ODN that, yes, he is a troll, but he's a real person too, and he actually does care about the better good of people. And he was working with us, and basically he helped crack the case for two major criminals that have been harassing people online for a while. And now, because one person, Jamie Lycan Theory, he's not a criminal, but he's involved with JB Gunner. Now, because ODN did something, because Jamie was attacking me back then, ODN was going to bat for me and other people that were being attacked by Jamie. Because it was found out that ODN did that video, and ODN was about to take JB Gunner down, and take down, and he was also the one that figured out, that Ronaldo, aka Puffcuss Joker, is Tram Hits and Dr. Robert. JB Gunner stepped in and threatened him to silence him and to flip, which is why I think ODN is still coming at me. I think the only reason why ODN is still coming at me is because he's trying to protect himself from JB Gunner and Jamie trying to sue him for that death threat video that he made. And it wasn't even really a death threat video. It was just something. And listen, it's not a joking manner. I get that. Okay, or joking matter. I get that. But, that video was more so meant to say, look, Jamie, you're messing with my boy Eli or somebody else. Back off, dude, and I'll stop making these stupid videos, right? There was never really any intent, in my opinion, to do harm to Jamie. All ODN wanted to do was get Jamie to stop doing his stupid things to me. That's it. That's all. That's what this all boils down to. It's what it all boils down to. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens later today. Folks, I'm going to wrap up in about 5 or 10 minutes because I got to get some rest, and I also need to make a couple phone calls to some people that are still awake right now, or up early, because a lot of these people are on the East Coast, and it's just about to turn 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific. I will mention that Brutally Lauren was planning to do a live stream last night and have ODN on and a special surprise guest, which we know is going to be Ronaldo, a.k.a. Trim Hits, a.k.a. Dr. Robert. Come on, Lauren, a special surprise guest. You don't think we know who that special surprise guest is? Come on. And, the topic she was going to discuss is wannabe YouTubers, and guess who they're going to talk about? They're going to talk about me all night long. All they're going to do is have a 3-hour shit fest on Coach Eli. That's all they're going to do. Seriously, right? Because what's ODN's and Ronaldo's investment in a topic like that? It has to do with me. There's nothing else they're emotionally invested enough to want to participate on a boring ass topic like that besides that, right? Lucy O'Hara, but it's how it appears to the folks it's aimed at. Did they see it as a threat? Yes, they saw it as a threat, but quite honestly, the person Jamie knows ODN's a troll, and Jamie knows that ODN is not going to harm him. And Jamie, I think what happened was Jamie was just trying to blow it up to get more traction on his channel. So, probably her dealer, hey, Pink Panther, how you doing? It's great to see you here. Do not ban Pink Panther. Do not ban Pink Panther. Do not ban Pink Panther. Hang on a second. Hold on. Hang on. Okay, yeah, folks, do not ban Pink Panther. Pink Panther is a friend of some people that know Pink Panther. So do not ban Pink Panther. I don't know who Pink Panther is, but I was told that, you know, they want to be a part of the show and that they're not a troublemaker. So anyway. So yeah, you know, Brutally Lauren was going to do a show last night on that. Wannabe YouTubers with ODN and a special surprise guest, which we all know is going to be Ronaldo, aka Trim Hits, aka Dr. Robert, right? And now she's saying that she's going to do that show tonight, right? And then I'm looking at all these community walls. I'm looking at Lauren's community tab, looking at JB's community tab, Janie liking theories, and I just do this quickly, folks. I'm just kind of curious what's going on, you know, because obviously I've had issues with these people, and I'm just trying to basically rid them of my channel, or rid them from my channel, so I can just move on and do what I got to do. But somebody commented and said on Lauren's channel, you know, you're gonna compete with JB or do what JB's doing. And then she said, well, how am I doing that? Well, the bottom line is you've got a stream scheduled for tomorrow. So does JB. Now, I don't know if you folks are streaming at different times or close to the same time, but apparently there are going to be a bunch of streams scheduled around the same time tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But honestly, Lauren, I know you're watching me. You always watch me because you stick your nose in everything, and whether you like someone or not, you're curious about what people are saying, you know, about you. And I'm going to ask you this, Lauren. What is the purpose of that show? Like, you know, what is the purpose of you running the show about wannabe YouTubers? Now, if you want to talk about wannabe YouTubers, what you should do is, you know, take 5 or 10 YouTubers as an example and say, you know, these are people that are wannabe YouTubers. They're not doing things the right way, blah, blah, blah. But see, what you're doing, Lauren, is you're using that title as a front to be able to get people on that panel and talk about me, which you know that's what your audience wants, and that's what you want to talk about. I would be surprised if I was not the highlight of that show. And if I'm not, that's great. But I doubt that. Because what's going to be interesting to your audience, which is primarily Coach Eli haters and Dramasphere people that love drama like this, what would be interesting to them if you actually, you know, went out there and found 5 or 10 YouTubers that are wannabe YouTubers and just did a reaction video to all of them, right? And what would ODN and Ronaldo have invested in that? Nothing. Their investment in that topic involves completely around me. All you're trying to do, Lauren, is get all eyes on you and find a reason to do a show about me, which is what you know your audience wants, and that's all they want, because she's a busybody and wants attention. That's right, Barbara. You know I'm speaking the facts. You know this is the truth. Angel Hatton says, all have power to do good or bad. Why are so many people given that choice and choose to use it for bad? Yeah, I don't. You know what it is, Angel? It's one thing. It's all right, folks. The YouTube live streaming server cut off my OBS. I should be back now. I hope it doesn't happen again. I'll be wrapping up the stream soon. Sometimes in the middle of the night it does that. It's still middle of the night here. It's 4:07 a.m. Pacific, 7:07 a.m. Eastern. Folks, am I back on live? I should be back on live. I probably buffered for a second or went offline for a second. Like I said, every so often, and I mentioned this in the past, every so often the YouTube live streaming server will cut off my OBS, open broadcast software, that I used to run these streams, and then it'll reconnect typically shortly afterwards. It's noon over there. Okay. So if you were watching this live, you probably went offline or buffered for a second. If you're watching it on the replay, you probably saw a splice right where it happened. So we're all good. All we saw was a blink. Okay. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes, they reset their servers in the middle of the night. Because remember, I'm in the Bay Area and it's, in California, and it's middle of the night, and YouTube's in San Bruno, which is the same time zone where I'm at. And YouTube's only 22 minutes north of where I live anyway, so. But anyway. So, like I said, folks, it's going to be interesting to see what happens later today. And it's been interesting to see how much of a morgue the dramasphere has been over the past, I would say 3 or 4 days, but I'd say ever since, I'd say probably for the last week, the dramasphere has been a morgue. It's been like, correct me if I'm wrong, Barbara. Barbara, you pay attention to all this. Have you noticed a decline in streams? And have you noticed it being much more quiet throughout the dramasphere, at least for the past week or so? And a lot of things have happened, Susie Q 79792 channel, like I did mention on stream, or like I mentioned on a stream earlier this week. She went down because she decided to, upload one of my videos without any commentary. I guess apparently she's given Dr. Robert, aka Trim, aka Ronaldo, access to her channels, and he's been uploading copyrighted stuff. So I copyrighted Susie, and I guess it was the third strike, and it took down her channel. So that went down earlier this week. Barbara says, to be fair, I was enjoying Mardi Gras with my friends. I really wasn't paying attention for the last week. LOL. Well, good for you, Barbara. Good for you. Unlike those sad people, I have a real life. Well, I do too. And lately, I've been taking a bunch of time off of YouTube. And it's funny, all those times that I took off, the dramasphere started fighting, and they've had far less content or no content to create without me. It's funny. They've had like zero content to create without me, right? It's the funniest thing. But before I wrap this up, folks, and get on out of here, we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens later today. I keep saying that. I'm like hooked on that. Because again, it just hasn't been feeling the same lately, which is what I'm trying to say. Hasn't been feeling the same. But that's a good thing, because it's been more peaceful. And I've been able to run my shows, and I'm beginning to rebuild my audience. And I'm sure that Ronaldo, aka Trim, aka Dr. Robert, and JB Gunner, and all these other people are still trying to attack my people. But I've gotten to the point of where it's like, look, I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to run my channel and let people make their own choice if they want to support this channel or not, despite the trolls attacking them and saying bad things about me to them behind the scenes. I can't control that. I can only control what I can control. And if those people, want to believe the trolls and stay away, that's on them. if those people understand that YouTube has a lot of trolls and haters and people, that make crazy opinions. If they understand that and they realize these people are just losers and they want to stick around, that's on them. Like it's totally on each individual if they want to support this channel or not. And it's interesting to me, over the past couple of days, it seems like I am getting some of the support back, and I appreciate that. Angel Hatton, I appreciate you being here. Lucy O'Hara, I appreciate you being here. We're all good. I responded to your message or your comment that you made on my video, on the replay. I think we're all good now. I wonder where Riff Magos is tonight. Maybe he's sleeping right now. Maybe he's taking a break from YouTube. Barbara's here. And there are a few other people here that I know are supportive. And I thank you for that. I really appreciate you. Barbara says, you sure have. They don't know what to do when you leave. Yeah, Barbara. And look, Barbara, I'm a humble person. It's like I'm not saying I'm all that, but I guess maybe to them, I am all that. I don't know. They've certainly made a lot of money off of me. They made more money talking about me for the past 3 years than anything else they've done. So, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why they're so invested and they can't let it go. Christmas Fireplace says, I know he does not like me, but I want to publicly commend MJ Bodie for taking a step away from the bullying. Well, Christmas Fireplace, MJ Bodie did email me, and MJ, I heard your response to me, and you said you knew I was going to read the email. Well, I decided to do that at the last minute because I wanted to publicly commend you as well, just like Christmas Fireplace did, for you didn't come out and say you like my content or like me, and that's not a big deal. But you came out and said, look, this has gone way too far. This is just really stupid because as much as I don't like Eli, Eli's stepped away. He's, gone dark for a while. He stopped beating into it. And even when Eli wasn't beating into it, these people kept trying to antagonize him back in. So he started to realize, Christmas Fireplace, that these people are dependent on me for content and making money. And when he realized that, that's when he stepped away. He's like, look, I can come out and say, hey, I don't like Eli's content. I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. But in this case, he's right about what these people are doing. And it's not about whether I like the guy or not. It's about the matter of principle, right? Angel says, he sure is X. Angel, he's a grand man. Angel, RJ Sandifer as well. Yeah, speaking of RJ Sandifer, I've been talking with RJ behind the scenes. And, who knows? Who knows what happens? But RJ actually emailed me, and he actually contacted me behind the scenes, and we've been talking. And he's tired of this shit as well. Like, everybody's getting tired of it. Like, they're all falling like flies. He's funny, as I've watched him a few times. Who, RJ? Yeah, no, RJ's great. When RJ and I work together, we're a great team. Like, RJ and I can entertain people for hours and throw down truth bombs. Look, RJ and I, if the other side, like JB Gunner and the Gun Squad and all these other people didn't get to RJ and make him flip back and forth many times, him and I would have created greatness. Him and I would have created greatness. And now, because everything's getting handled and more people are beginning to see the true colors of JB Gunner, Jamie Lycan Theory, Susie Q7979, Publicus Joker, aka Ronaldo Smith Jenkins, aka Tram Hits, aka Dr. Robert, and a few other culprits, and Brutally Lauren, and all of them, because people are beginning to see the true colors of these people, and they're getting tired of seeing the same repetitive shit over and over and over again, especially when I'm not even antagonizing them. A lot of people are pulling away. They're like, this is the same old song and dance. Like there's nothing new about it, right? And there's a lot more to the story, folks, that I can't share at this point, and I hope to share sometime soon, because let me tell you, when I'm able to talk about what I'm not able to talk about right now, it's going to blow your fucking minds away. And that's exactly where I'm going to end this show here tonight on that note. Folks, I will be back for 1, possibly 2 streams tomorrow. I will definitely do at least a walking stream. And if there's some breaking news to announce tomorrow night, I will do another stream from the studio, which would make it the 3rd stream of the day. In the meantime, make sure you check out my community tab often every day, as I post there often to update you folks on aspects in between my live streams and other pre-recorded videos. And please also subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications if you already haven't. All right? And to the people behind the scenes, if you're around and you want to talk in a bit, let me know. I know we've got some things that we're expecting today. What I'm going to do to the person, to one of the persons, or to one of the people behind the scenes, which is what I'm trying to say. As soon as you get the information that you're waiting on, please contact me at that time. In the meantime, I'm going to work on a couple other things and get ahead on my Friday with things, would do at 8 a.m. instead of, 4:19 a.m., which is what it is right now. But I'm going to work on that stuff. So let's talk once you get your, the information that you're waiting on. Okay? Does that make sense? And if you're watching, you can message me behind the scenes and make me aware. All right, folks, have yourselves a great one. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Bye.